Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of AutoSave. My name is Nick Andrade and I'm here with my co-host, as always, Camille Salazar Hadaway.
Hello, Nick Andrade. Good to be here.
It
As
has been a busy week for us, but it's Spider-Man 2. That's what we're playing, and we always get up for that, right? Doesn't matter. We'll wake up from 2 hours of sleep to play some Spider-Man.
Yeah, I could wake up or not get any sleep and still play some Spider-Man, or Spider-Man could be the cause as to why I'm not getting much sleep, which that may be true.
Do you ever sit in bed and think, like, maybe if I just, turn on my PlayStation, just maybe for, 15 minutes. Just swing around.
Yeah. I'm just gonna do, some crime missions, like nothing big. I'm not doing main story. Just gonna I need just 30 minutes in the game, you know?
That's it.
And then you're up and it's 5:00 in the morning and you're hearing birds and you're like, wait, what happened?
Well, that's where we're at, because this episode, let me tell you, is going to be a doozy. It might be one of the best.
Is it going to be a doozy?
It might be one of the best missions I've ever seen in my entire life. But first, obviously, let's recap what happened last week.
We really got to do this with the mask on?
Depends.
Relax. I'm not trying to get my ass kicked by my nephew again. Your dad used to give me that exact same look. Kid?
Martin Lee. Someone got him out.
I know what you're thinking, Miles. This is not on you. We can't let him live up here. It's just another kind of prison.
It's not that easy.
Never said it was. But sometimes you gotta push the past away so you can make room for the future. That's actually why I called. Need your help getting something. Could get it myself, but parole means Prowler's retired.
What is it?
Just some old tech I gotta get off the street. Stashed it by a decommissioned Roxxon lab near Central Park.
Yeah, I know the one. Are you really putting Prowler behind you?
Behind us. You getting something?
How did you...
And Miles, that Lee business? Don't be stupid.
Yeah.
So Uncle Aaron is on parole and visits Miles. He tells Miles that he is not going to be the Prowler anymore and vows to help him, which activates some Prowler side quests. Miles then tries to get his real life in order, heading to his school, Visions Academy, to talk to Mr. Atlas, hopefully not from BioShock, to discuss college admissions and his essay, but finds out there is a teacher missing and he needs to get involved as Spider-Man. So he delays his real life responsibilities once again. Meanwhile, Peter goes to the Emily May Foundation building, and it is a stunning state-of-the-art science building that Norm built for Harry. And sorry, me saying Norm really threw me off there.
You and Norman Osborn, you're like the closest.
Yeah,
it's you and Norm.
I can call him Norm. But Peter accepts Harry's offer for a job, which might take some time away from him being Spider-Man. After this, Peter heads to the Williamsburg Bridge with a tip from Genki that the Hunter's base might be there. And he stumbles upon the base, but it has a cloaking device. Once he gets in, deals with the bad guys, finds out that their leader is named Kraven, and he isn't trying to make a supervillain team. He is actually trying to hunt down and kill all of these villains for what we assume, knowing Kraven, for sport. And he kills Scorpion, which Peter is very shocked by. It's getting real now. But the question I have for you after all this, Cam, is, do you think this is good? Do you think this is a plus for the Spider-Men, that Kraven is getting rid of all their enemies? Peter doesn't think so. He's kind of like scared.
Yeah.
He doesn't like that Scorpion was killed again. Like, he doesn't kill anybody. He keeps throwing them in jail. He also fears for Felicia Black Cat, but like maybe she's on the radar there. What do you think? Do you think it's good for the Spider-Man that he's ridding of these villains?
I would love to say it's great, but it isn't, because you go around New York, there's lots of like little crime that's happening because of these villains, like, or people that follow these villains. I feel like, especially with like everything that happened with Roxxon and the Tinkerer, they're still trying to, get gadgets and make things happen, although the Tinkerer isn't around. So imagine if these big villains weren't around, you just have all these smaller, lesser criminals just trying to make things happen, and it's not where Peter or Miles would want that, because I feel like Pete and Miles have all the villains in a sweet spot. Like, they know how to push their buttons. They know what they're thinking,
Yeah. But doesn't Peter want to be Spider-Man less? So doesn't this help with his case?
That's fair. That is fair. But in terms of like being a Spider-Man and like the saving of people, no, I think it could cause more chaos, because all the lesser crime people will just be, you won't be able to predict what they're going to do.
All right, well, let's see if there's more chaos in this episode today. And that is where we are going to start today's journey with missions 10 through 13. And you're in for some exciting stuff. I'll tell you that much.
You're in for a doozy.
Yes, a doozy, bro. Question of the day, Cam.
Okay.
All right. If you were hit, again, this is non-serious answer only, because it could get serious. It could get existential. So let's just go with the non-serious answers here, okay? If you were hit by Scorpion's hallucinogens, what would the visions that you would see be?
That's a really tough question. Nick, you're coming with these questions of the day.
Thank you.
You know what? I'm going to go from personal experience. I have a wild imagination. As a kid, I had a wild imagination, and that continues into adulthood. It would probably do with something with my sister taking my cookies. But but it'd be like really ridiculous. So for example, right? I had a dream one time where I was running around with Oreo cookies, tripped and fell. And looked up and saw my sister eating them. Then I turned into an Oreo cookie, started rolling down like Indiana Jones, the boulder style.
Yes.
My sister was running.
That was your dream.
That was my dream.
Wow.
Rolled out of the house, and then I just found myself back in my bed sleeping. That was my dream. So I feel like my visions would just be heightened, because yes, I would have Scorpion's the venom to cause these hallucinogens, these hallucinations with these hallucinogens.
There you go.
But like, yeah, I feel like it'd be something like really, like the main thought would be like something so small in my real life, but then just amplified tenfold, where it's so ridiculous, but I still wake up in a cold sweat.
I love it. I love the answer.
How about you?
I'd start with probably having to fight or fend off like 6 or 7 Wicked Witches of the West. We know my fear that I had of her as a child. I could see that happening. As
a child? You sure you still don't have?
She still gives me the heebie-jeebies sometimes, but I'm brave enough to stick it out. And then that would turn into, this is right off the cuff right here, the dream I had last night, which is very strange.
What was your dream?
The dream I had last night. Or is this one of
the things where you don't talk about dreams? You know that superstitions, you don't talk about a dream because it could come true? Like my Oreo dream will never come true. right? Is this a dream that will
Yeah.
never come true? Is it safe to talk
It,
about?
no, it could happen, but it's stupid. So I don't
Okay.
care if it
Okay.
happened. Well, no, I do care if it happens because someone died in the stream. But
Oh,
yeah. So I'm in this like
Oh,
giant
no.
theme park, okay?
okay.
And it's almost Spider-Man-esque a little bit, right? But there is like
you're
a
swinging around.
ride.
In leotards.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
There's a ride that is like on the coast of like water, like a sea, okay? And it's almost closing time, and I'm the last one there.
Okay.
Okay? And I drop my keys and my phone like on this rock.
You drop your keys in your phone?
No, my keys and my phone.
And your phone. Okay.
And sorry. On this rock, and then I have to leave, and then I'm like, oh my god, I lost my keys and my phone. So there was this whole adventure of me not knowing what to do to get home with no phone and no keys. I couldn't get anywhere, so I like camped out at this diner. Okay, and then like I called a taxi, I think on a payphone.
Oh my gosh, where are you?
I don't know exactly what's happening.
Okay.
So then the next day I run to this theme park, but it's closed again. And then I don't remember a lot else that happened other than this man rescued my keys and phone, but died getting them for me. So his last breath was just getting my keys and my phone.
Oh my goodness.
And then I woke up.
And you're like, oh, where's my phone? Where are my keys?
But why? Why? What was the point of that? Was I afraid that I lost my phone and my keys?
I think you're more afraid of the security that your keys and your phone brings you and not having that with you. I think you're overworked, Nick. I think that's all that means.
You think that's what it is?
It's just you're overworked. You always, if you're like me, and I know you are, you have your phone on you all the time because you're always getting those notifications for things that have to do with work, right? And then those keys are for you to get to work. So it's like, you're overworked. Here you go. About the guy that passed away, rip.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. Thanks for getting my keys and my phone.
Good thing this wasn't real. I like how you're just like, I don't mind if this dream actually someone did that. So let's not have this dream happen in real life.
Was this question of the day just for me to tell you about my dream?
I don't know. I think so.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's a very intrusive thought I always have whenever I go to theme parks. Dropping something where you can't get it.
Yes.
And
like my keys, I'm always tapping my pocket to see if I have my keys.
Oh my! Do you do like a 1-2 keys phone?
No, well, sometimes I remember like a week or two ago, I literally was like, "Where's my phone?" And I'm like patting my pocket, and it's literally my other hand, and I was like, "What an idiot!" But I do that. Like I'm always just like, I always make sure, like passports. If you're traveling, I check for my passports 8 million times.
Yeah, but that's like because you're not used to carrying your passport on you. You are used to having your phone. See, I do always have my phone, but I'm also not conscious of that so much. So like, I may leave my phone a few places, but you know what? It's like my phone can have its own life. You know, it doesn't have to be with me. It doesn't have to be with me all the time. I may leave the house, drive down to the store, realize I forgot my grocery list on my phone, which is not with me. And you know what? That's just an adventure to drive back home and get my phone before I pick
Would
up
you
those
actually?
groceries.
You don't remember what was on the list?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So you need to drive back home.
Yeah, because I hate getting home and it's like, oh, I have an idea, like I want to cook something or like just eat something and it needs, for example, ketchup. I'm out of ketchup. I cannot have certain foods if I don't have ketchup.
Really?
I am one of.
That's a whole nother story.
Ketchup.
That's weird.
My main dish is ketchup, and the other food is my side. I am that person.
No,
it's so good.
I'm more of a hot sauce guy. Anyway, okay. Don't tell Scorpion about these things, or else the dream will be that you'll never eat ketchup again.
Oh my goodness!
Right?
Please no. What?
Exactly.
No.
Yeah. No. Scary. Anyway, people listening, sorry that kind of went off the rails, where it ended up becoming A dream interpretation.
Well, hey, I mean, they were kind of nightmares
They
for
were.
Miles, so it was dream interpretation for Miles too. Okay.
Same thing. All right. And we don't know exactly what the extent of this means for Miles, but we'll see. We talked about it a couple episodes ago. Anyway, let's snap out of this hallucination, this dream sequence that we are entering right now in this segment, and jump into some gameplay. After the break, we switch over to play as Miles, as Peter wants us to check in on Felicia to see if she's okay or if she's in danger from Craven and the Hunters.
Hey, so I found a base belonging to those safari pirates, or hunters as they call themselves, and learned their boss's name, Craven. And he killed Scorpion, and he's got a whole hit list of supervillains.
Wait, what? Does this mean Lee?
Don't know, but this list is extensive. These must be the people Marco warned us about. They were hunting Sandman.
No way.
And Felicia's on their list too.
Black Cat? Your ex?
Exactly. She won't listen to me if I say she's in danger. But maybe she'd listen to someone she doesn't know. If MJ reached out to you with some addresses, would you be up for taking point on this?
I got you.
Thanks, really. I gotta clear my head for a bit, but call me if anything comes up, and... We're going to find Lee, Miles. I promise.
So a couple of things here. I obviously find it funny that Peter is not doing this himself, especially when he has history with Black Cat.
I think
He's
that's
dating
exactly
MJ.
why. That's exactly why he's not doing this himself, because he has history with Felicia. Also, maybe MJ's like,
Well, you remember the
Can
DLC?
do that, but I don't know if that's a good idea. You know?
The DLC from the original Spider-Man game, she was very flirtatious with Peter.
Exactly. Maybe. Yeah. I think Pete is making the right move to have Miles do this for him. And also, I do love the fact that MJ is also concerned for Felicia as well.
Which is funny. And she's pulling up the addresses too.
Yeah.
I think at one point here, Miles says like, wow, like you're like good for you that you're doing this for your boyfriend's ex.
Exactly. And I guess like Peter also said he has to clear his mind. I guess like
What
it's
does that
just
mean? Is he talking about Black Cat or is he talking about Craven?
I don't know.
Well, you know, she's a thief, right? She's, you know, I get it, is what I'm saying. She's, you know, hard to get, I guess. I wanted to mention too, Miles, you can tell that he's really focused on Lee here. He keeps talking about him. He keeps mentioning him again. Like Peter says, we're going to get Lee, Miles, don't worry. But he very much wants to make sure that Craven doesn't kill Lee so that Miles can get his hands on him. That doesn't make sense? Or is he going to ask him about his powers, or does he want to kill him, or does he want to put him in jail himself? A lot of questions.
Yeah, when he asked, like, does that mean, you know, is Lee dead as well? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he didn't seem like, I don't know. It was actually that like how they're doing Miles, like his kind of trying to find his footing with these complex emotions of like wanting revenge but also justice. I think it's like it's interesting because you didn't hear like disappointment, but you kind of did when he delivered that line.
Right.
But then, like, you didn't. They did it so well where you're kind of uncertain with how he's feeling. Like, I don't know how they did that, because I feel like the obvious choice would be like, you know, like, did Lee get away because like I want to kind of finish the job, or did Lee get away because like I made the choice to save him, so like I want him back in jail.
I think he wants to kill him. That's just my thought, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's off to one of Felicia's known hideouts after a quick heart-to-heart with MJ on the phone. Of course, MJ warns Miles to not trust Felicia and just to find her and get her out of the city. So MJ knows that she can be a tricky one.
Yeah.
It looks like the hunters have gotten already to one of her safe houses as we use our new AR tech to search the area to see what happens. Also, the molecule minigame. We play this to find out what these minerals are. What are they? What's all like the filament that's on like the weapons that they used.
I don't even know what you would call that.
The chemistry chart. What do you? Again,
like the elements.
I stopped taking science after grade 10, so
Yeah.
clearly you can tell that I'm useless in this category. But
you know
it's
what
a cool
it is.
minigame.
You know what we? Yeah, it's like try to find like the atoms and yeah.
You have to destroy the
destructive.
The destructive atoms, right?
Yeah.
And then you got to keep the good ones.
Keep the neutral ones.
And then every time you destroy one, two destroy as well. So you have to make sure that
it depends
you're
like
clicking.
the chain of the destructive ones.
We
'cause
sound so stupid.
We do. This is why we're not scientists and instead we podcast.
But it's fun. That's all we can say, right?
I honestly enjoy those mini games, even like we saw
So do I.
in the last episode as well.
Yeah.
I love the mini games. They're so
Me too.
good. Also,
Like
I'm
it's
not good at the one with the for the Prowler where you have to hit the targets. Like
You're
the
not good
haptic
at that, eh?
feedback, man. My thumbs are just like ah.
Oh, like
yeah.
I like that one. If someone's listening to this on audio and not watching the video,
It makes no sense at all.
Yeah, it makes no sense. We're basically pretending like we're pressing R2 and L2 really hard because, that game's really fun. Anyway, it looks like Black Cat managed to get away from the hunters at first, but there is a big explosion nearby, and that leads Miles over to that spot. And we have to scan to see what happens because we just missed it again. And we have to open a stash box here. So guess what? We get a familiar minigame here. Not minigame, but cool activation from Miles where he has to electrify certain nodes and connect them together. If you didn't play Miles Morales, this was not in the first Spider-Man game. This was exclusively for Miles. I liked seeing these kind of things that it was like, oh, here's a little gameplay from Miles Morales.
We're visiting it. It's even like one of the Visions Academy missions is like you have to connect the circuits using those nodes and in order for like a homecoming proposal. And it's like when I think I experienced that before hopping into this mission. So I was like, ooh, nice. It's back.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that proposal is really nice too. By the way, side quest. Don't
it is.
make sure you do all the side quests. We'll talk about it in a future episode.
God.
But
we do
the side
because
quests. Especially Cam do the side quests.
I actually have been enjoying the side missions, but some of these ones, like honestly, have made me tear up.
Tear jerkers, 1,000%.
Yeah.
But guess what? This might be a tear jerker here. But once you find the stash, you open the box. You know what's in the box? Well, let's see.
I'm in. Paris. MJ, how's your French?
Non-existent, but send me what you got.
Okay. There's some instruction manual for a Wanda Watoon.
Watoon? I'll do a search. Give me a sec.
Hunters. Wherever they're headed, I should follow.
According to a translation of the Mystic Arcana, that wand is old. We're talking BC old. Supposedly, whoever wields it can create portals to pretty much wherever they can think of.
Like magic?
If she gets her hands on something like that.
I can think of some uses for it.
Miles, let's just stick to the plan.
We're in position. She's ours.
The wand of Watum.
Yes.
Holy crapola!
Such a good little Easter. Well, not an Easter egg. Like, this is like a main part of the story.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, I love this. Like, I was not expecting a Doctor Strange reference to just pop up here.
No.
In like the main story
Yeah.
of Spider-Man 2.
I was already theorizing everything. I don't know what was happening. I was like, okay, we need this wand. What's going to happen? Where are we going? And then where does it lead us? It leads us to the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy moly, we're going to do this. The multiverse is here. Spider-Man, all the characters, everyone's happening. Everyone from the Square Enix game, they're going to come into this one. I don't know what's happening. Like, I just...
Yeah, they're going to have the huge Avengers Assemble moment. Like in Endgame.
I hope. I was just like, I was floored when this happened. I was not expecting, I was just expecting like some sort of note to Peter about something. And this ends up being a complete 360 spin.
I love how they're just like, they're very clear. I know we have Avengers Tower here in this game, but like they're very clear that the other superheroes are active in this game by having like an Easter egg like this for Doctor Strange. And it's like, I wonder, my mind was going wild. I'm like, are we going to see Doctor Strange?
Well, Cam, let's see if we are.
Oh, that's a first.
Little spider wants to play, huh?
MJ! She stole the wand! And magic is very real.
What happened?
Hey, Cat! Can we talk? Will you slow down?
Back off before I portal you into the Pacific Ocean.
How'd you get on our comms?
You're still using the old channel. Don't you have better things to do, kid? Felicia, you have to stop. This is reckless, even for you. Who's this? Huh, that you, Red? How are things with the old spider these days?
Wow. This was me playing. Here's my controller.
Nick is just holding his controller in excitement, like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Yeah.
I'm in shock. Please.
Like this whole sequence, like I didn't think we'd actually be, or like Black Cat would actually be using this thing. Like,
no.
And like we'd actually experience a whole sequence with this thing going through New York and other places.
Yeah, I think it was mostly New York, and I was hoping we would see some weird, land, but the only thing we got was like it looked like it was Antarctica.
Yeah, that was so cool.
But just the whole gameplay aspect of this, and then Miles saying magic is very real. It was just like, all right, here we go. Like everyone is on board with this, and I'm so happy Insomniac put this in. I don't even care if it's a slight nod, whatever, to just know that there is something more out there than just the Spider Universe, which they've been teasing for a long time.
Yeah.
Was fantastic.
Well, it's like we're used to, I think for Spider-Man, like, yes, the traversing, but like it's pretty like, and yes, like Scorpion's visions or hallucinogens that cause all these visions. But it's like going through this and like just how the portal opens. Like there's a point where, yes, the Antarctica, that's like blew my mind, but where Felicia opens a portal right before a helicopter. And then like after the helicopter, and you like swing through the helicopter and then go into the portal. Like it is such a cool sequence, but it's like making me think, because we know they're working on a Wolverine game. Hopefully some mutants make some appearances, and like sequences like that just make me so excited for like, yes, obviously getting through Spider-Man 2 and seeing what other cameos of things in the MCU will make an appearance, but also like for how maybe they'll integrate mutants in a game, on its own and powers, because I think it's very hard to make magic look cool but also feel cool as the player going through it.
And that gameplay definitely felt really smooth. going through those portals, smashing the L2R2 button. I just had
smashing them.
Just smashing it. I had so much fun. But once you catch up to her, luckily you do, even with this wand of a tomb, Miles finds out exactly what she's doing.
Why won't you help me stop this guy?
You're Spider-Man. You've saved the city before. You'll do it again.
Spider-Man was right about you. You only care about yourself.
Look, kid. Not that it's your business. My girlfriend's in Paris. And I got her into trouble with some bad people. Have you ever done something for love? She needs me now. If only I could figure out how to go more than 10 feet with this thing.
MJ said not to trust you.
Red's a smart one. But you gotta make your own choices, kid.
So Felicia is trying to save her girlfriend in Paris who's in trouble and asks Miles for help on how to get her there. So Cam, do you trust her?
I do. I do trust her.
Wow.
I know, right? What is this?
Finally.
What's happening?
I know.
But no, I feel like she does have, like, she seems very sincere about it. And I feel like because we've dealt with Black Cat in the DLC for Spider-Man, I'm not getting that vibe that she's being deceptive here. I feel like she is being a little trustworthy. I am curious, though, about her girlfriend and if her girlfriend's maybe someone in the MCU.
It's got to be.
Because she says she got her girlfriend into trouble with some like bad people.
Yeah.
So it's like her girlfriend either has to be like a thief or like some sort of criminal, your average day criminal, or like someone that has more like superpowers, that's kind of on the level of Felicia.
Whoever's listening, I want to know if you have any theories on who you think her girlfriend is, because I looked up a few. Some hit, but it could be a few different characters. So I'm kind of curious to see where they go with this, if they expand on it, which I think they will.
They will. And do we think that Kraven and the crew is the people that maybe she got tied up in some bad
in
stuff
Paris?
With? I don't. Well, we know Kraven is Mr. Worldwide.
He is Pitbull. Dale.
Mr. 305. But he has the resources to be anywhere and to have his crew anywhere, right? He traveled all the way to New York from the jungle, I'm assuming.
It just seems like Insomniac's really trying to like hit us over the head with bigger and bigger themes. And I feel like it's something entirely different that they have in their back pocket that if they can expand on, they will. But I don't know if they fully will ever.
All right.
If that makes sense.
I like that thought process.
All right, well, it's time to fight off some enemies, and you get to tag team with Felicia, who uses the portal for some sick fighting combos. Once you get through the enemies, Felicia then asks you to focus real hard on the Eiffel Tower to help her work the wand properly. And obviously with Miles holding the wand of a tomb, it works. And the Eiffel Tower shows up in the portal. She thanks him, and he says, I just want to point this out, au revoir, Felicia, which means bye, Felicia.
Oh, yeah.
And they 100% did that on purpose.
Yeah, they definitely did. Au revoir, Felicia.
Yes, and it is au revoir for her as she goes into the portal. Thanks, Miles. And she was, you know what? You trusted her, and she was telling the truth. That's all she wanted to do was go, hopefully, and rescue. Well, maybe she's gonna, get a gem or something in the Louvre and steal or steal a statue, or steal the Mona Lisa. Who knows?
That's true. I mean, but she didn't. She like I don't know. Maybe
She kept her side of the
exactly.
story.
She gave the wand back.
Yes.
But I mean, if her girlfriend happens to be in Paris, I see what Felicia may be thinking. Why not just take a gem from the Louvre?
Yeah. It's 100% possible.
Yeah.
But-
100% going to happen too.
Oh yeah. She needs a little money on the side.
I know.
I don't blame her. Exactly. Go for it. As the portal closes, Miles heads off with the wand, and he holds it real tight and asks to find Lee. But guess what? It disappears, and a note from Wong appears and says, "Sorry, just got back from Nepal. The doctor and I owe you one." And man, let me tell you, I was fanboying so hard when I saw that note. Again, we saw all these references, but we have a direct note from Wong to Miles. I was like, holy moly!
Holy moly! What do you think Miles did with this like little note after he obviously
kept it.
framed it? You can't
Yeah.
throw that out. You don't
100%.
throw it out. That's
Right.
magic.
Yes. Does
From
he know
really
about
cool
these
people.
people, though? That's my question. Does he know who Wong is?
I feel like he has to. I mean, if Black Cat knows about the wand,
Yeah.
and they're very. I feel like they're very active. Like all these different superheroes and extraordinary people. Then I feel like he has to have some idea. I think he at least knows Doctor Strange,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I think maybe I don't know, because Peter never mentions all these other characters, really, and so does he know these guys? Has he fought with Iron Man before?
I don't
Has
think
he,
he's
like,
fought. I don't think they fought alongside them, but I think they know of each other.
Interesting.
I mean, Miles and Peter are super smart. Why wouldn't they be aware
Yeah.
of all the other superheroes
Yeah.
in their backyard? Avengers Tower is literally right there.
And I saw something swinging around that I just am going to think about right now that came to the top of my head. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you seen it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yeah.
On top of a building?
Yeah.
Where there is a half-painted logo
Yep.
of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
That is for helicopter, basically.
Definitely Mr. Fantastic.
I don't know. This is just it's making me tingly inside, because I just want some crazy ass all these MCU characters come together.
But they're giving us like a little taste here and there.
They better.
Yeah.
If they don't, after all these teases, I'm gonna be angry.
Also, I do think like it's interesting that it didn't work for Miles, even though he helped it work for Felicia.
No, I just think Wong got there at the right time. He was just like, "Oop, you have this. I need it back." And so at the exact time he was wishing,
timing, yeah,
Wong grabbed it. That's all.
Do you think Wong, like, as soon as he got back from Nepal in the Sanctum Sanctorum, he just like stepped in and it was kind of like an alarm? Was like, oh, something's missing. Like, how quick was that? Like, was it?
Yeah,
just,
or
like,
did he like come in and then Felicia left?
Yeah.
Or did he let them
was
have
he,
fun
like,
for a little
he knew
bit?
It was missing for a while, and he's just like, Spider-Man got this.
Convenient.
Do you think that he knows that Miles was trying to use it for his own good? No way.
I think he knows everything that's going on at all times.
Wong knows all.
Yes, Wong's the best. But deep breath here. We have to move on, unfortunately. After this amazing mission, Genki calls us to say that Mysterio just got out of prison and is opening an attraction at Coney Island, and we should go just to make sure that Kraven isn't after Quentin Beck. So I guess this is just a theme. Just a guy can go out, get out of prison, and then build something in Coney Island, and
Start a business.
it's all good.
No problem.
All right.
What's his probation look like? I feel like this shouldn't be allowed.
If he's been, I feel like, I guess, if he's turned over a new leaf, we'll see.
I mean, yeah, I guess we'll see.
Well, we're going to have to go find out. Genki also mentions that Haley is there, and Miles got to make a move. So let's go, Miles, off to Coney Island and make a move on Haley or something, please.
Yeah, we got to get the classic at a fair, romance going on. I hope that happens here.
I hope so too.
'Cause
Or just get a
wasn't-
hot dog.
Yeah, wasn't MJ and Peter also going to meet up with Harry at
They
Coney
were.
Island? So
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Maybe they just
Alright.
all eat hot dogs and have a fun day and nothing
no, that's
happens
the
at
worst. You never want to make a move when everyone is around you.
all. Yeah, but you pull her to the side. Anyway,
How do you
We're thinking
pull
too hard
someone
about
to?
this.
Yeah, okay. There's like 6 people there. Anyways,
we'll see. Maybe he'll get some alone time. Let's see what happens in this clip.
I don't see any bad guys. Should we take a closer look?
Hello, I'm Quentin Beck, Master Illusionist. And this is Betsy, my business partner, and Cole, my technical advisor. And this is the next generation of entertainment.
No way, dude.
Excellent! Cole, a brave young man, ready to experience the future firsthand. Is there anyone else out there with courage in their hearts? Come one, come all, and experience the future!
So Miles enters the Mysterium and wild ride here. Don't know what's happening. First Miles is a DJ performing and you're doing like Guitar Hero, not entirely
DDR.
sure.
Beat Saber, but it's so much fun. I had so much fun with this. Also, quick thing.
Mhm.
He definitely should not have this business. You have a business where you're doing illusions.
Right, like that's specifically what he was what his crimes were. How does he get to just do that?
Who's his probation officer? things aren't adding up. I don't get it. But maybe he served his time and now it's good. They're like, you know what, just use how do they handle this? You arrest like these criminals that have powers, but that's like who they are. You can't tell them not to use their powers, but at the same time, it's like, you keep finding yourself in prison because of these powers.
I don't know, like his illusions have gotten him into trouble so many times. It would make sense like he might be trying to kill somebody through that.
Exactly.
AKA Miles.
Oh yeah. That is true.
Well, conveniently, that leads into something going wrong. As Miles sees Lee in his dream world and has to fight off enemies, Quentin says there is malfunctions going on and they're trying to fix it. So once you go through the bad guys, Quentin tries to get you to an exit and you escape as Beck then closes the Mysterium for maintenance. So a couple questions here. Do you think Quentin did this on purpose? And what do you think about the quest overall? I thought it was a lot of fun, but suspicious.
It is suspicious. And I want to think that he didn't do this on purpose because
wow, you're being
so
trusting
nice.
today.
I know.
What's going on?
Who am I? Like, I think he isn't, but it is kind of weird that this would happen to Miles.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then also, we don't see this right away, but it does unlock Mysterium quests throughout the game. But first, we meet up with Peter, who is with MJ and Harry. Miles tells Genki that the whole Mysterium and Lee situation made him a little uneasy, and the game switches you back to Peter. Miles is a little shifty too, though, and MJ, you could tell, is concerned, but Peter is like, I'll talk to him. Whatever. He's really annoying me, is what I'm telling you right now. Peter is in this game. He's all lovey-dovey Harry. It's like your mentor, your mentee is right there. Maybe keep an eye on him and stop fanboying over Harry.
He's going through a tough time that you're very well aware of.
Jerk.
Pete. No, Pete's not a jerk. He's just going through his own thing.
That's true.
You know?
But his whole stick is, I don't know, rubbing me the wrong way right now. But guess what? It's Coney Island game time. Who cares about Miles, Genki, Peter? We get to play some good old-fashioned Coney Island games. Cam, what was your favorite game that you got to play here? Because we literally get to go through 8, 9, 10 games. We get to go on attractions. I don't know when the actual mission is going to start, but I'm having fun doing this stuff.
Yeah, I love these mini games. Again, the basketball mini game.
That was your favorite?
It's just like it's so like fun. I do wish like maybe it was a little bit more complex, because it is very simple. Like, you just got to wait for the arrow to turn green or whatever. But also the plates, shooting the plates. Like, that's actually like, what is your favorite mini game or like game? I'm like, what's your mini game of life? No, what's your favorite game at a fair? Because mine is like, shooting the cars to go fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard. I do like the game where there's a bunch of holes and then they have colors, and if you hit some of the holes with colors, you get a prize.
Yeah.
With like a wiffle ball.
Oh, I like that.
I like that game because I seem to always do pretty good in it.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite overall in this game was either whack-a-mole or Peter throwing the ball at the cans and getting them, and then the guy whispering, "That's not supposed to happen," because it's really satisfying to know that, that game can actually be beaten.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we all know they're all like not as they are. You need to know the tricks of the carnival in order to win these games. And I've tried all of the tricks, and I'm still not good at winning these games IRL.
Yeah, I think it's on purpose, though. Then we see something that I have to specifically spend some time on here. Peter and MJ do the love test, all right? And it tells them that their relationship is dead in the water. Now, is this a coincidence?
Foreshadowing?
I think it's foreshadowing, but also Peter has never had in comic book history luck with MJ, right? He always just like, there's never a happy ending when it comes to that.
I mean, there's happy end, like,
I don't mean sexually. I mean,
I didn't mean that. I just got what I was saying while I was saying it. I was like, this sounds weird.
I mean, just like a story ending happily.
The story does end happy. Like, oh, now I can't even say that. The story does end well for the two of them sometimes, right? It's just they go through a bit of like issues, which is normal of any relationship. And I think that's why I actually really do like their dynamic, because it's never perfect. And it's like, could be small things sometimes or like really big things. But I think like this is, I was doing the same thing. I'm like, is the game trying to tell us something? Because this is weird to put this, or is it just like a little gag that like we as the players are looking into this as maybe a foreshadowing, when it's like all these carnival games are rigged,
right? Yeah, that is true.
And it's like kind of like a joke.
I would like to think that this is definitely put in on purpose, and specifically what it reminded me of was the 90s cartoon. Is that Peter is married to Mary Jane, and she ends up being a water clone. Yeah. And this says "dead in the water."
Oh,
just saying.
You think that's a reference there?
I think it's a reference.
Wait, is this MJ a water clone?
I think it would be too weird for that. Maybe it's just a little nod, but then I think it's just saying like they never really have good luck in terms of like having a, we get married, have kids, and he retires as Spider-Man type of ending, right? There's always something that gets in the way as Spider-Man. So I think that's what they were alluding to. But if it was and she was a water clone, that would be hilarious. So as they get through the park, they end up seeing Tombstone, who has also turned over a new leaf, just like Quentin Beck, and is a mechanic now. Definitely doesn't have his own Mysterium, so that's good. I like it. To be honest, it's hard to see that these characters turn over a new leaf, but I really do believe in second chances. So I like seeing these enemies once of Spider-Man actually turning over a new leaf, allegedly, if that makes sense. I hope they do, is what I'm saying.
Allegedly. They did not turn over a new leaf. They never do. They always end back custody, right? So like, I think, do you think it's like they want to turn over a new leaf and they're like, oh, fair, this is like good, to like start my business. It's like a carnival person. But I really don't think that's the case. I think it's like, maybe they're just like, yeah, I'll do this thing. But I think if they're tempted by something that is like so interesting to them, they're willing to break the law for it.
So we did see Quentin rescue Miles, right, from this situation. We did see Tombstone rescue this person from a bumper car crash or whatever it was, and he's a mechanic. He looks like, again, it looks like they're doing nice things. So I want to believe that they're turning over a new leaf.
They are not. Not at all.
Anyways, back to Peter, MJ, and Harry, and this is where we get something going on here. A strength test that we move to, and Peter does his strength test, and I'm thinking, is he gonna overpower this little sledgehammer to hit the bell? He doesn't, but then Harry goes, and guess what? He blows that bell off of the machine with his sledgehammer, and that's where we know Cam, he's got some powers.
I am so jealous. Like, you don't understand. I've always wanted to win that game. That is like the one carnival game. Like, I'm really good at, the person that they guess things, like guess your age or whatever.
Yes.
I'm really good at that because I had braces like all through university. So like I would go to the carnival with braces and they would think I was like 13. Right?
So you won every time?
Oh, every time. That was my game.
Nice.
Made sure I was head into that person. And they'd be like, really? And I'd be like, this is my driver's license, But it's like, that is the dream game to win at a carnival. You always want, because it's like that in like, the one where you're holding on for dear life, trying to hold on the longest.
Yes.
That and like this test of strength is really the good ones to win, because everyone always circles around those ones. They want to see who's the strongest. They want to see who's able to endure gravity the longest,
Well, you just need some superpowers basically, and then you'll be able to do it. After that whole fiasco that we know that Harry probably has some sort of powers, Peter and MJ have a romantic chat on the Ferris wheel.
You look really happy.
It's funny. Harry's getting a second chance, but I feel like I'm getting one too.
You two are gonna make a hell of a team. The Bugle posted.
Did Jonah put you on the front page? Oh, you're gonna be an editor. I should have brought champagne.
Hunters and scorpions and explosions, oh my. Jonah posted the new guy story.
MJ,
It already has 5,000 views. I've got to write a different kind of story. Win his trust, somehow.
Hey, I've come up with something. You always do.
Thanks.
Sure. And hey, if you need some help from your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, I'd say we make a hell of a team too. Even if I do forget the champagne.
Next time.
He went this way.
Out of the way! Eyes on Tombstone!
So obviously something crazy goes on near the end of this, but I want to focus first on the chat between MJ and Peter here. Obviously, MJ's upset because the flashier, I guess, article took the front page instead of hers, which sucks. But Peter mentions here that he finally is feeling happy. He has Harry back. He feels like he's getting a second chance. To me, again, this is all screaming that I don't think he wants to be Spider-Man anymore. And I think he is enjoying life as Peter now.
Yeah.
That's got to be it, right?
Yeah, I think that's the thing, right? Like it's pretty obvious that he doesn't want to be Spider-Man anymore, especially after last episode and we heard his remarks once he decided to go for the job. I think he's also in the mindset that he is going to end his mentorship. And I personally believe that is being Spider-Man, because if you think about it, why would he need to be Spider-Man if Miles is there? He may have to step in every once in a while, but I think he is honestly considering not being Spider-Man, so Miles can step in. And if there's help that Miles needs, because it is Peter Parker, he is so nice, he will step in. But I do think that he's taking that really in his mind, thinking that he's going to take that back seat. Whether it happens or not is another question, but it is allowing him more time. And we already see him doing that. He's blowing off Miles and Spidey duties in order to spend time with Harry, right? And with MJ now being at the fair. So I think it is inevitable. And what I'm really appreciating with this game, it's like we have these two different times and like a spider in these Spider-Men's lives, right?
Right, yeah.
Where Miles, when you're a kid, you do have more time for things, although
Yep.
Miles is also a genius and trying to go through a life change of getting into college and focusing on those duties. But you more usually have more time on your
Yep.
hand rather than Peter, who's trying to juggle some jobs in order to pay his really expensive mortgage, interest rates again. But it's like when is it the time to sunset on being the superhero and focus? And it's like you think even back to something like the Iron Man in the MCU films, right? It's like he even was sunsetting on being Iron Man and started to have a family, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
when is that sunset for superheroes? And they're exploring that in this game. And I think it's fair that Peter has these feelings as well. One thing that caught my attention with this conversation is, yes, that they're focused on Peter's truly happy, being, I think, spending more time as Peter Parker rather than Spider-Man, but also the bond that MJ and Peter have. Like, MJ was so concerned when Peter lost that job at Vision's Academy, and now you're hearing the concern Peter has for MJ because MJ's writing, it's the flashy stories that are getting the attention and not necessarily what MJ wants to do as a writer. So I that's, to me, is not a relationship that's in water. All right. That's a strong relationship to me.
So it's not going anywhere is what you're saying.
Nope. Not at all.
I do want to point out too that I think Insomniac is trying to point out that yes, Peter doesn't want to be Spider-Man because we got bicycle scene where we had to ride our bike. We have a full Coney Island scene where we get to be as Peter. We're spending a lot more time as Peter than I think I would have expected at all. And I think they're really trying to press that home that, hey, he doesn't want to be Spider-Man.
Yeah, we only played as Miles at Visions in here. And the Visions mission was pretty short compared to Harry and Peter's time at the Emily May Foundation, even Peter at the house, at Aunt May's house, riding the bicycle, the school, Midtown High.
All of that.
It's like, yeah, you're onto something. I think they're really pulling us in to understand where Peter's head is at.
Well, Peter might be happy, but he's still Spider-Man. The hunters spoil his good time as they try to now go after Tombstone, this poor guy just being a mechanic. And Peter is not happy with that, so he goes after the hunters. The coolest thing about this whole sequence is you get to fight as Spider-Man, but he wears the prize that you won after doing all those mini games. I had the cowboy hat and weird glasses, I guess light up glasses. What hat did you pick?
Yeah, I got the cowboy hat, light up glasses as well.
Yeah, this is the best one, right? Not even
Yeah,
close. The top
it
hat's
is.
not as cool. Yeah,
No,
I agree.
not at all.
Yeah, thank you. Boom. But we got to deal with a lot, and I mean a lot of hunters here. This is a good 15, 20 minutes worth of fighting hunters. Once you do, though, you finally get to Lonnie.
Draw the spider away! Now!
I got you, Lonnie.
Don't fall. Oh no. I'm sorry, Lonnie. I really do want to help you. It's gonna be okay.
Well, if you're just listening on audio and you don't know what all that sounds was, there is a roller coaster being destroyed and you need to rescue the people on the roller coaster. This is Spider-Man 2 Tobey Maguire Subway-esque situation here, right?
Yeah, it's like this larger than life experience. Well, even like with the last chapter and trying to figure out how to save these people that are falling into the propeller of this boat. They're really going all out with these experiences. Like, it's not just like something small, it is grand. It is like on another scale. But yeah, this was like a very stressful time. Very stressful time.
When I think the Ferris wheel like cut the roller coaster in half,
Yeah,
and then I saw the people started to come, I was like an oh crap moment where I was like, I gotta rescue. I literally felt like Spider-Man in that moment.
exactly. It's like I gotta
gotta rescue
in
these
and
people.
just do it. Yeah, you're right. Like, because I think these instances are just so immediate, and like it's all or nothing because people will die.
Well, this is actually a tough situation for Peter because he is all alone. The hunters are attacking him, but he has to rescue the people on the roller coaster. Can he do both in time?
Sorry! Harry! Pete? No! Hang on!
Was that?
Yeah! Hang on. Okay, we gotta talk.
We sure do. Spider-Man?
I know. But first, what are those things coming out of you?
I think it's my treatment. Dr. Connors said it's some kind of self-learning exosuit, but I had no idea it could... Wait. You know what this means, right? We both have superpowers. Just think about all the stuff we could do to heal the world! Sorry. I guess I still gotta figure out how this thing works.
Well, it's a real shame neither of us has a state-of-the-art science lab to run some tests.
I'll go make sure the coast is clear. Meet you there?
Give me a call when you're ready.
So there it is. Harry comes in to save the day with his symbiote powers confirmed.
I knew it.
I feel like everybody did.
Oh. Well, no. Okay. Remember, first episode, we were talking about, is it a dream, that sequence between Norman and Harry? And now it's more leaning to that wasn't a dream, because obviously we know that the symbiote was in the tank with Harry. But now, like, after seeing this and this confirmation that it's not just a treatment, but it's changing Harry a bit, I think Norman actually has it too.
Ooh, oh boy.
I don't think that was a dream at all. I think it was stemming from Norman, or maybe transferred to Harry.
I still want, like, there was that tank that Harry was in was a green glow, right? And the start sequence of Spider-Man, the first image that we see, it's green glow. So are they just, again, is this a red herring where they're just like, he's got symbiote, but he's actually going to be Green Goblin? I'm still preparing for that.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
More importantly, though, Harry now knows that Peter is Spider-Man. Are you worried that Harry now knows Peter's identity, or do you trust him?
I don't trust him. I said that from the beginning. When he just showed up throwing his money around with these bikes that were identical to the ones that they had as a kid. When he got them into the school, I don't trust that throwing money around Harry. I don't know what I was doing there. But yeah, I think, like, I do think Harry has good intentions. However, I don't trust him. I'm sorry. No, I just feel like it's too soon to tell. Like, and Peter has the Spider-Men, Peter and Miles has the worst luck with their friends. It's like, come on, guys. There has to be a point where you're like, you know what? Let me not tell all my close friends.
It seems like there's a whole town of people that know who the Spider-Men are right now.
Yeah,
it's not
exactly,
good.
right?
All their loved ones. This is not good. Before that, I want to point out, Peter was really gonna let go of those people. I couldn't, for a split second where he's like, I'm so sorry. And I didn't think someone was going to rescue it all. I literally thought that this was going to maybe start his slow descent into madness because he lets those people die. That's where I was at. My heart was racing real hard. I didn't expect Harry to show up, and I thought he was going to actually let them go, because that's where he was letting them go. He realized he couldn't hold on anymore.
Yeah. Oh, a descent into madness.
Or
I think that would have
darkness.
been like the whole, or darkness. Yeah, I think that would have, if that were to happen and Harry was not there to help out, I think that could have been actually the moment where Peter's like, I'm never being Spider-Man again.
Yeah.
Like, scared away from being Spider-Man.
That's where I thought it was headed, but
yeah,
we're going to see that it's not that at all.
Nope.
I also like that Harry recognized Peter from his voice right away. You know how, like, most superhero, like, movies or video games or whatever, they're so oblivious. They don't know Clark Kent, Superman, all that stuff. Right away, Harry's like, Peter? And then he's like, Harry? And I'm like, boom, thank you.
They know each other so well.
Exactly.
Like, it's like, you have to know. And it's like, we actually hear Miles in Spider-Man Miles Morales change his voice. So he hopes that Unc Aaron, doesn't realize that he's Spider-Man, but he does. He knows automatically. But I think what they're doing in this universe is, like, also answering those questions of, like, but wouldn't you know? Wouldn't you know? And they're saying you would know. You would absolutely know.
Exactly. No doubt about it. Close people. How do you not know? Come on.
How do you not know?
You hear their voices, you know. And if you don't, are you really close to them? That's all I gotta say. Well, Harry and Peter are going to go to the lab to see what exactly is going on with Harry's quote-unquote treatment. We know it's an alien. But after the break, let's follow Harry. Sorry, go ahead. What did you say?
It's an alien. I was just saying it's an alien.
After the break, let's follow Harry and Peter to the lab to see exactly what this symbiote can do.
Hey, Pete! Watch this! Woo!
You okay? Come on. Let's see what else this thing can do.
What are you doing?
Science, buddy. I'm doing science. So, Spider-Man, you told MJ, but not your best friend?
To protect you. I wanted to.
Right. Yeah, I get it. And that kid you're tutoring, he's the other one?
A lot happened while you were in that tank.
Trust me. I know. Nice and gentle.
Whoops. Yeah. I'm gonna make some coffee. It looks like it's gonna be a long night. Damn it.
What the hell happened here?
We were just doing some experiments.
Where's Dr. Connors?
Maybe he took the day off?
No. He doesn't take days off.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I'll call you later.
Uh-oh. I don't like the sounds of how Harry, asked, "Oh, you told MJ, but you didn't tell your best friend?"
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my gosh. You were in a tank and said you were in a tank recovering from treatment?
And said you were in Europe, bro. Relax.
And said you were in Europe and didn't tell your best friend? Okay.
I mean, I know he's been Spider-Man since he was a teenager, but still, come on.
Yeah, still. Also, is this there's so much here. So do we think the symbiote is changing Harry a bit? Because that's what happens, right? Do we think that question might have been a deep, deep feeling that Harry was thinking, but would otherwise not say if he didn't have the symbiote?
It sounded pretty shady. And then when he said oh yeah, totally understand.
Yeah, totally.
Sounded also not, I wasn't buying it. I think he's upset about it. And then also now he knows that Miles is also Spider-Man. This could be a recipe for disaster. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, because I completely forgot they did meet at Coney Island. So he does know it's Miles as well. A little bit too much information. And is it Peter's right to be yeah, that's the kid,
He didn't necessarily confirm it, but obviously
that's true.
Harry is a smart guy. He put two and two together really quickly.
Well, same like Genki, I guess, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. But also it's Norman at the end there.
What's he pissed about?
He was not we've seen Norman pretty happy. And when he's he doesn't Dr. Connors doesn't take days off. I would not love to have Norman Osborn as a boss. And we already got a glimpse of, like, I guess he's going through re-election, right? Because we saw that billboard when Peter and Harry met up, and it was spray painted over, right, with Venom's breath, or Venom's breath, what, dragon breath, what was it called?
Dragon's breath.
Dragon's breath, right? Which is, you know, what the chaos was surrounding in the first Spider-Man that Norman Osborn had a hand in. So it's like, still shady.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Again, these could be the Venoms, the Venom family. Who knows? I don't know what's gonna happen.
There's
but I'm
like
nervous.
a whole Venom family. Yeah, I'm pretty nervous about it as well. I feel like it's there's a lot going on. Even like how Norman was, yes, upset that Dr. Connors wasn't around. Like, he stumbled on that room, saw all the mess, which obviously Harry doesn't have full control over these newfound powers, right? He's still testing them.
Yep.
Right. We know the powers don't like Peter.
Yeah.
Which is classic symbiote and like the Spider-Man relationship, right? Because we saw it react, like kind of throw out of Harry's body and also push Peter back.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right, on the rooftop. Yeah. So we see that he does, like, Harry doesn't have full control, and we see that the symbiote's reacting weird to it. But for Norman to stumble on this room, he's fully aware that Harry has these powers, but still trying to play like dumb about it. Like, what's going on here? You know what's going on.
Or maybe he's just upset that he showed Peter this.
Probably.
I think that might be it, because he obviously realizes that the symbiote, that's what, you know, all this mess is, and the cracks in the windows and stuff like that.
Exactly. And then also, like, for
whatever it is,
for Peter, just like, he doesn't even acknowledge Peter is in the room. Like, he was so happy to have Peter.
No, it's really awkward
for Emily May, and then it's like he doesn't even acknowledge Peter is just right there on the couch, and Pete's just like, I'm gonna go, because it was so awkward. So it's like, why would he be like that to his son's best friend if he truly has his, like, I know he truly has Harry's well-being in mind, but it's like, why so secretive about it, like, like Harry's closest friend?
Something suspicious.
Things are adding up.
Something I wanted to point out as well was, before this chat with Harry, as he's going to the Emily May Foundation, Miles calls Peter, and Peter basically hangs up on Miles just to answer Harry's call right away, which I think is really rude. I think he's been rude to Miles quite a bit. I'm afraid that Peter is going to start neglecting Miles so he can spend more time with Harry. We've already, you know...
He is.
Yeah, it's like in Coney Island where he's just like, well, it's my tutoring, like, are we going to... And then he's like, we'll see. And then MJ asking Peter to talk to Miles. I think he's going to forget about that as well. Mm-hmm. And I think this is going to be really bad for their relationship moving forward. I get that your best friend is back, but again, there is a young kid, a young impressionable kid who really looks up to you that you really need to focus on. So I'm really pissed off at Peter for all of this right now.
Yeah, I feel like it's tough. Peter's in a tough situation because he's going through his own thing, but he is older, and I feel like should know a bit better, especially with everything that he's been through and the loss that he's been through. I am scared that this may lead Peter to blow off Miles again when Miles needs guidance the most, and maybe send Miles to do something he'll regret later.
Yeah. That's what I'm predicting, honestly. I feel like Miles is going to do something. Because
and all I have in my mind now is like just a montage of all the times I'm swinging in New York City and I stumble across Peter, and then we beat up some bad guys and we do a little pose together. It's like those good times aren't going to be that good if Peter continues this. It's going to be gone. Peter, what are you doing?
I honestly don't know what's going to happen. This game is throwing me for a few loops. It's not predictable at all. in my opinion.
No,
which
not at
I
all.
like. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see this relationship and how it blooms or wilters. But let's go back to the best mission of all time with Black Cat and the Wand of Watum. And I want to ask you about the extended Marvel universe. Okay, is this even possible with rights to like expand? Like, I know we have a Wolverine game coming, but can they introduce these characters, or is it only a movie rights thing? Like, I'm looking at this logistically. Like, can they introduce characters into a Sony product?
Yeah. I don't know if they could introduce the character, but I think they, and like I have no idea what the rights are, how that works. But I feel like based on what we've been seeing, they could definitely they can't necessarily introduce the characters, but they could imply the characters and use like assets from each of the characters universe or like comics. And especially like because they do have, and it might have been like something where it's like they get permission to do it. It may not be like just you have all games have the rights to do this, but just like permission. But I think also because it was such a success, the first Spider-Man game, it's like, why wouldn't you want to give them permission to do more of this stuff and hint to it, especially when we know a Wolverine game is hopefully around the corner.
And hear me out. We see all these nods that they're making right now to this expanded universe. We see what Kraven is doing, killing off enemies of Spider-Man. The only logistical sense that it makes for a third game is something to go all out, which I feel like they're preparing us for. Or again, like, what would you like to see in like a DLC? Do we see more Black Cat? Do we see more expanded universe stuff here? I feel like they're preparing us for one, an incredible DLC, and then two, Spider-Man 3 is going to be the best game of all time. Like, that's where I think we're headed here.
Ooh, so do you think they're going with a trio here? You think there's going to be a Spider-Man 3?
There has to be.
Does there?
Yes.
Does there? Okay, all right. Okay, we're going to go
If
with
there's
it.
not, well, again, it makes too much money for them to not do it, obviously.
Yeah.
And I
But
think
I mean, there is something with ending on like a high note. Like, if this game turns out to be just as good or even better than the first game, it's like end on that high note and give us Wolverine.
I'll
and
cry.
like just focus on other properties within this universe.
Never.
Okay.
And I listen, I'm all for ending on a high. I hate when games are like 7, 8, 9 in the series and it's so convoluted and everyone hates it now.
Yeah.
I'm all for ending it, but it's got to be a trilogy. That's all I got to say. But I'm sure we'll be able to talk about it more as
the trilogy. Well, they did. Yeah. Okay. Fair. That's fair.
What were you going to say about the trilogy? What were you going to say?
No, nothing.
Oh, okay. Cam's going to hold that for a next episode then. Secrets, just like Harry has with Peter. So don't be mad, Harry, okay? Because I know you're holding stuff back against Peter right now. So don't be so mad that he didn't tell you about Spider-Man. Anything else before we go that you want to mention other than your secret?
I'm just like really excited to my secret. I'm just really excited to see Venom. I want to see Venom like now. I want to see Venom now, like right now.
And this is the episode too, like where I feel like we're in for it now. Like moving forward, we're really deep.
I
in
think
the
it
story.
has to happen next episode. Like I think we have to see Venom next episode.
Let's see.
Woo!
All right, next episode, is Venom gonna show up? I don't know, but I know that we are in store for something big, even bigger than the Wand of Watum. Maybe
bigger than the Wand of Watum. I mean, yeah, this is still early chapters. How do you get bigger than this?
I don't know. We'll see next time on AutoSave. AutoSave is produced and hosted by Camille Salazar-Hadaway and myself, Nick Andrade. The show is also produced by Dylan Wilson. Gameplay and additional elements provided by Chris Seitzer. Executive producer, Clayton Hansler. You can follow the show at AutoSave Podcast on Twitter and AutoSave Pod on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. You can subscribe to the show wherever you're listening to it right now, and if it happens to be Apple Podcasts, kindly leave us a rating and review, but only if it's good. AutoSave is a Soda original, hosted on the Soda Podcast Network.